Welcome back to a best of 5 series of top level StarCraft 2. Welcome back to a professional match of StarCraft 2. What I've got for you today is a best of 5 series of Protoss versus Terran, where interestingly enough, in game number 1, we find ourselves on the map Dynasty. Spotting right here, in the top right hand corner, playing with the red Protoss pieces. We have the man who's considered to be, especially by the Korean community, the best Protoss player in the world. It's always, in my mind, it's a bit of a, it's a difficult one, right, between Max Specs and this Protoss player right here. We're looking at none other than herO's main and Nexus. His opponent, likewise a similar discussion. Is he the greatest Terran in the world? In my opinion, yes, but some people might argue that it's Clem. We're looking, of course, at none other than Maru's main command center. herO going up against Maru. This particular match was recently played during the ESL Masters Spring, so a premier tournament. And, well, whenever these two play against each other, I always get excited, and especially when there's $100,000 on the line for the entire tournament. So let's see. Interesting that we're actually having Dynasty as game number 1. Certainly some mind games going on as far as the map order goes. Usually Protosses will be placing down their Cybercore right over there to make sure that the Reaper of the Terran will not be able to just go straight into the main base. This map, by the way, is about 50-50. It's pretty good for Terran, it's pretty good for Protoss. It's especially bad for Zerg going up against Terran, but for the other matchups it's actually fine. It's just a bit weird, right, with that in-base expansion, and you can kind of choose to like take the expo a little bit later on into the game. Terran could go ahead and make a command center and then fly it to the other side and still mine the rich Kijkwijzer. Protoss would usually like to take it in base, but the problem, of course, for Protoss at that point is that if Terran decides to go for a Reaper, a Cyclone, Hellions, there's loads of ways to shoot across this mineral line, and it's just a complex map. It's just harder to play than pretty much every other one out there. Now, it looks to me that Maru is actually doing a one-base opener. So he's denying all... Okay, yeah, he's going proxy starport, I think. The factory will be finishing up here in just a moment. And we should see him switch over to a starport over here. So I guess this is going to be a Hellion drop? Hellion drop on the other side of the mineral line, even though the mineral line is exposed from this side. So maybe he's going to be aiming for the main base instead. Obviously, herO knows that his mineral line is going to be exposed, so there's a good chance he's going to put all of his defensive measures right over here inside of that expansion and leave the main base unprotected, because what Terran player would be aiming for the main at this point? Oh, it's going to be Cyclones, by the way. I thought it would be Hellions, but no, we're going to go Cyclones instead. Well, anyways, it's a Stargate opener here for the Protoss player. Protoss at this point has not seen much yet. Mostly just scouting his side of the map, but sadly he did not, at least for him, go far enough to spot this. It's gonna be... Okay, I was making the assumption this would be a Hellion drop, but it turns out it's Cyclone Liberator. And now into Hellions. So maybe there will still be a medevac after the Cyclone? Anyways, all of this is to be said, though, that Maru needs to get something done with this. Because if he doesn't deal any damage, he's gonna fall behind very rapidly. Those golden minerals are gonna give a nice juicy income here to herO. There will be an expansion here eventually, but it only just now started up for Maru. So let's see. He needs to justify this opener. There's an Oracle already out. Oracle is currently going across the map. No probes have been killed yet. The mining, I guess, can be denied. I think going after this SCV makes a lot of sense, yeah. I like that herO decided to continue going. Now this is obviously a problem for herO. Cyclone's here within range of that shield battery. Liberator now also shows up. I don't love that Liberator, to be honest. The Hellions just drove around the sites. That's one way of doing it. In the meantime, though, inside of the main base, that Oracle... Okay, well, there's no energy on him anymore, so he's going to be forced to back off, but he does have 10 confirmed kills to his name. Cyclones are within range of the Nexus, and that is arguably the biggest deal here, right? If you can just kill the Nexus from this site and continue sieging this position, it'll be really difficult for herO to hold on. herO has been going for Phoenixes. Phoenixes, of course, can kill everything here. There's the battery overcharge. Yeah, Cyclone Liberator will be denied, I think. Should be good. Although he's gonna have to, yeah, micro a little bit more deliberately if he wants to keep all of this alive. Battery overcharge does have a pretty long cooldown. Viking has shown up as well at this point, but... Okay, probes are falling. The issue, of course, here for Maru is that this is still mostly just a one-base play. Command Center just finished up over in that golden mineral line, but it is very late. Unless he kills the Nexus here, which I don't think he will be able to, but he needs to. Unless he kills the Nexus, I think he's in a world of trouble. Yeah, he's got a lot of anti-air, though. More Cyclones are coming up. If he can kill the Nexus, oh, that's going to be really close. How many Phoenixes have gone down? 2, yeah. 2 Phoenixes here has actually been kind of a lot. Probes decide to go back to mining. Phoenixes are going across the map. Ay. That is a dangerous play. He's feeling like he can maybe kill some of the units over here. I think going after the Cyclone makes a lot of sense. Yeah. But that does leave this base exposed. I think you should actually use the shield battery overcharge on the Nexus to recharge its shields a little bit quicker. I think the Nexus is dead. He's gonna get it. Yep. Oh, there we go. Okay. In the meantime, that Oracle has once more accumulated a bunch of energy. And it is going to continue just zapping away at whatever it can. 20 workers have been killed by this one Oracle. And now some fresh mules are being picked up as well. That is another like 500 minerals or so that could have been mined down the drain right there. Does he just restart the Nexus? I wonder if he just restarts the Nexus. He's thinking about doing it on the other side. Maybe that's better, but I think he could probably just go for the golden mineral line once again. Yeah, and this is why we normally don't see this map at the highest level in a game number 1, because it's just so complex. I mean, as a fan, I love it. As a commentator, I could cast games like this all day, but it certainly does make the game so much more complex. Cyclones lifted up into the air. Phoenixes, though, sniped out of the sky as well. They are relatively tanky. Stalkers will be able to finish the job. Beautiful game 1. I don't think we can really hope for much more. Alright, so as this dust settles, who's ahead? I honestly don't know. I don't know. If you were waiting for me to answer the question, I honestly don't know. It's really hard to say. Protoss has more workers at this point, sure. But their Nexus is not yet done. Terran has fewer workers, but they have a golden mineral line. It's been an absolute roller coaster as far as the income advantage goes. But both players are now starting to transition away from where, yeah, they have started off this game. So we've got Stimpack coming up for the bio units here. We've got a transition towards the Twilight Council, although he did mix in one more cheeky Oracle. That first Oracle worth its weight in gold, so maybe a second Oracle, if it can even do like 10% of what that first one did. I guess it's already worth it. Okay. I think hero is bleeding out one too many units. He's trying his best, but yeah. 8 Phoenixes down is what worries me a little bit. He's going Dark Shrine. Obviously, we have perfect vision, and the game is quite difficult to estimate. I love that Oracle. That Oracle's actually such a good choice. Anyways, we have perfect vision, and it's hard for us to judge exactly where this game is currently at. Imagine dealing with this game from your point of view right here as one of these 2 pro gamers, when you don't really know exactly what's going on. So when behind Dark Shrine is one of the age-old adages for StarCraft 2. But I'm not sure that hero really is behind. At this point, by the way, Maru did see it, but the question is, did he click on it? There is a visual difference between a Dark Shrine that's building and a pylon, or for example, a shield battery, but the difference is small, and when you're moving at 100 miles an hour, you may not actually be able to notice it. I think hero has been throwing one too many units, though. That Nexus has been rebuilt over at the gold base. There's 2 medevacs available here, too. So that's actually quite nice, because that means the Terran can potentially ferry units towards the other side. 5 gateways are just about to finish up. Dark Shrine also finishing inside of the main base right now. Blink is about 70, maybe 80% or so of the way done. Not a whole load of Stalkers yet available. 3rd Command Center building on the low ground. Maru. Really? Okay. He's like, you're confused, Lowko? What do you mean? Game's easy. Alright, where's the Dank Templar? That's the question. There they go. These can put in a lot of work. There's obviously no blink for them available. Battery overcharge as well. There is blink right now for these Stalkers. The Marines are running dangerously low. Not a whole lot of losses though, because both players have been microing to the best of their abilities. Now the Dark Templar are inside of the main base. How many scans do we have? There's one scan right here inside of the main. There's a second scan, 2 scans actually built up for that orbital command inside of the expansion there on the low ground. Okay, so the DTs do kill quite a bit of economy, but nothing all too crazy. hero manages to stabilize though with the Stalkers now, but he did lose a bunch of probes in the process. Stalkers continue their harassment. Okay. They blink just barely in the nick of time. Stimpack has been activated. Charge coming up on the back of this. Okay. Ultimately, the Terran bio ball is growing, and these bio units work together a lot better than the Stalkers do. So, as this game goes on, I think it's gonna look easier and easier for Maru. Even though he doesn't really have the worker count, he does have triple mule production here very soon. That's gonna make the game much easier. Plus, those bio units just synchronize so well together. Here's a Dark Templar trying to save all of those Stalkers, but you know, there's been enough energy saved up. I think ultimately that's going to allow Maru to grab the reins of this game. But what a very spectacular game number 1. Super good game. Yeah. I think losing this Nexus a second time around is too much. He is going for another Nexus down on the... well, down south of the... I guess we can call this the natural expansion. But at this point, I think hero has bled out one too many units. He doesn't have any sources of splash damage. And against large balls of Terran, you really do need quite a bit of it. Either in the form of Colossi or Sonic Storm or anything like that. I think just straight up Zealot Stalker is not going to be good enough. There is no siege damage here from Maru going into that siege tank. And splash damage is going to hit very hard. Now, nice liftoff right there from that one Phoenix that is still left over. But I just don't think the numbers here are big enough. We have... Sure, hallucinate him in the middle of the battle next time. Oh, that's actually what he did this time around already. It's an ambitious play, hero. Maybe Maru didn't pay attention. But I think he should be good. Yeah. Brilliant game number 1 of this series. Lovely work. Ultimately, it's Maru who wins, but that was certainly not very obvious until like a minute or 2 ago. Game number 2. We find ourselves on beautiful site Delta. I think this will be a much more conventional game. Yeah, I don't think we're gonna see something nearly as crazy. This will probably be a good old one base expand right here for Maru. I'm gonna say it's gonna be a Stargate opener once again from hero, because Stargate is really good on site Delta, although you can definitely go into Blinky Boys as well if you want to. Yeah. Blinky Boys. I've actually been watching some of the new episodes of that new like Pokemon season. They don't even have those original songs in it anymore. I was very disappointed. Although there is a Pikachu. So that's something, I guess. One day, when the gamers go into the retirement homes, if we can, you know, actually survive until that day and age, and assuming we can all afford it and all that, right? One day in retirement homes, those are the types of songs that will be played. Yeah, in Dutch retirement homes at least, the few times that I've ever been, they were playing music that was like very old school as well. But I would like to think that one day, if I'm like 100 years old, actually I fully intend on living until like 190, so when I'm like 180 years old, I'm hoping that the Pokemon rap will be like the default song in the retirement home. It's gonna be sick. They're gonna be blasting Terran 2. Da-na-na-na-na, da-da-na, da-na-na-na-na, bow-now-now. You know what it's actually gonna be like? Instead, we're gonna get Fortnite music. Yeah. We'll hear the other old people reminisce about the battle bus. I don't think I'm ready for that. No, you know what? I don't want to go to a retirement home when I'm 180 years old anymore. Now that I'm no, I don't want to do that. We're gonna be discussing TikTok memes that were like popular in 2017 or something. Wow, you can really dance. Wow, you can really dance. I don't want this. No. No, there's gonna be other old people that are gonna be like 150 years old as well, you know, and are gonna be talking, and they're gonna be using words like bussin'. They're gonna be using words like low-key, for real, for real. I'm not ready for that. All right, anyways. How did I get there? I have no idea. I'm trying to retrace how I got... I have no idea. Anyways, it is indeed a normal game, and it is indeed a Stargate opener. So at least we got that going for us. Interestingly enough, a lot of like the Gen Z language in the Netherlands is American language. Like, I used to think, right, that like the videos I saw on like Instagram and YouTube Shorts and TikTok and stuff, that was mostly like American culture, but no. No, that's not really where we are. Apparently in Dutch schools they also use things like, oh, cute play. Also use things like for real, even though that makes no sense in Dutch. It's gonna be a Twilight Council after a good old Stargate. Phoenixes will once again be flying around the map. The most beautiful unit of them all. Low-key, I think they're very lit, for real, dude. No cap. All facts, no printers. Okay, that'll be enough for this week. I apologize. That'll be all. Blinky Boys are gonna be coming up very soon. And this is a pretty bad first Phoenix. Yeah, that Phoenix went sightseeing. And on God, I low-key thought it would for real be scouting a little bit better, but in the end it just sort of died. Skull emoji. I don't like skull emojis. I don't like skull. I see people on the internet, when they are trying to describe that they're laughing really hard, they just write a skull emoji. That does not pass the vibe check. I don't like it. Okay, now I'm done. Now I'm really done. One Reaper and one Phoenix have gone down so far, but it was only a single Phoenix, so it's a bit funky actually. So that was one of the most expensive Phoenixes a man can ever produce. Because he had to pay the Stargate cost into that thing as well. So it's just one Phoenix that did a little loop around the Terran main base, then died. And now it's straight into Blink Stalker with what seems to be a proxy gate. Do you think this is gonna be a thing as well in courtrooms? Your Honor, he was straight bussin'. Your Honor, that rebuttal did not pass the vibe check. I don't know, man. I'm not ready for this. No. I think this is just gonna be around for a little while. I hope so, anyways. Very passive game number 2, at least from our Terran player. Gateways are coming up. There's gonna be quite a few of them. Because hero is ready to make a transition. This is actually a really cool build right here from hero. So this is actually a 9-gate all-in. So it's essentially a faked Stargate opener. Maru was like, haha, look at this guy. He just gave me a Phoenix. What an... right? And then he decided to just do 9 gateways into full Blink Stalker Zealot instead. Which is actually kind of sick. He's got a lot of economy on the back of this too. There's no gases taken in the natural expansion. Stimpec is done at this point, but 1-1 and combat shields are still a little whiles away, or a little ways away. I think actually as soon as like, we get a big Zealot warp in here, so we've got... Okay, no, it's gonna be 8 gateways. I can't count. I thought 7 plus 2 was 8. Apparently it is. I don't know how this works either. But anyways, we are gonna get a load of gateway warp-ins right now. And hero is gonna straight up just try to see if he can win the game. Now, this is not the moment to be moving out with a medevac. Oh, no, don't move down the... Oh, Maru's got a massive misread here. Yep. No, he's way caught off guard. This is a bit of a disaster. Siege tank at the very least has been retargeted to the middle of all of those Protoss units. Oh, careful. So much damage being done. Gets the medevac too. Medevac is no longer out on the map, and that means that Maru just got demolished. Feigning weakness by giving your opponent a Phoenix into doing a good old gateway all-in. It's kind of wonderful, isn't it? I would like to make the assumption now that that Phoenix sacrifice was actually intentional. Hero's like, oh no, oh my Phoenix died. No, because I lost one of my phoenixes, I'm gonna sit back at home and make more phoenixes. So I'm just gonna sit here. You shouldn't expect me for a while. Whereas if he did not sacrifice that one phoenix, Maru would have assumed there would be some sort of movement from the opponent. But because one of the phoenixes was lost, usually Protoss players will sit back for some time. I think it was on purpose. Post Youth is gonna be our third game in this best of 5 series. Wonderful game right there from hero, actually. Yeah. Very clever. Protoss players for years now have always relied on at least a little bit of luck from time to time. I think that was a pretty good example of one of those, where like hero understands the meta very well. He knows exactly what the opponent knows, and because of that, he can try and play into that knowledge. Feign a little bit of weakness, and then go into a cheeky all-in that normally would never be expected. Because who in the world goes a Stargate opener into one Phoenix? That doesn't make any sense. And Maru did not really... Well, he didn't really have an option for it either, but he didn't scout, right? He didn't really do any follow-up scouting to confirm what he was assuming would be a normal follow-up right there from the Protoss. Double gas opener here for Maru. So not opting to go for a fast expansion. Which is a little bit funky, because on, well, post-youth, it is very easy to make that expansion. Right at the very beginning of the game. Okay. Could definitely be a Stargate opener again. Obviously, at this point, we're playing a series as well, right? Because if Maru now sees a Phoenix opener for the 3rd game in a row, is he going to make the assumption it's the same build as game number 2? Or as game number 1? There's the Cybercore coming up. We'll have to see what the tech of choice is going to be as soon as hero finishes it up. Are we going to proxy any of the structures, Maru? Are we just gonna... No? Factory over here. Will we be moving out with... No? Okay. So in game number 1, obviously, he proxied the starport. He went for a reactor over here and did the big switcheroo. But judging here from the factory's positioning, I don't think we're going to be going for reacted Hellions or reacted Cyclones in this particular game. Will probably be a starport and maybe into like a tech lab or something like it. Although we could see the switcheroo. Maru obviously playing a small little mind game there on his opponent as well. But hero not going for any sort of probe scouting here in the earlier stages of the game. Cybercore is done. Twilight? Yep. It will be a Twilight Council opener here this time around. So it should be straight into Blink. Maru decided to check over at the Golden Base. Nothing to be seen over there. No mineral fields being mined out. He's just trying to figure out if the game is normal. Yeah. It's tough. Why can't you just be normal? As he goes in with the Reaper Scout. Who goes for one Phoenix into an 8-gate all-in? It makes no sense. There's the starport. And there is the switch on over. So we will just see a good old Widowmine drop. Widowmine drop. Technically a good choice. But after your opponent has shown you a Stargate opener twice in a row, especially with Phoenixes, it is a little risky. Because if you do go for, I don't know, a Widowmine drop and you fly into a Phoenix opener, life can become very difficult for the Terran very fast, but apparently Maru ready to take a chance. Did he see the Twilight Council? Oh, okay, yeah, he did see the Twilight Council. So that may have been the reason. Twilight Council positioning here is out in the open. So Maru actually managed to get a little bit of vision there, so he will know that it's a pretty safe bet for him to go across the map. Using the Widowmine for a bit of scouting? Okay. Sorry, lad. You thought you were gonna be in the private plane as well together with the other Widowmines? Nope. You have to walk. He's ready to intercept anything from the Protoss. Reaper right now will see that there's something moving out. He's gonna try and burrow in a location that's hard to spot, but hero did see the tail end of it. And he knows of this distraction. Yep. Classic distraction right here from the Terran. He's gonna take some damage. Oh, okay, that's always so risky. He's gonna take some damage on the medevac. And I think he's gonna end up losing 2 of the mines. Obviously, his main base, though, is pretty flat. Oh, careful, careful, careful. My god. Is he gonna be able to kill that? No, he will not be able to kill that. Good splits right there, though. Medevac drop still in the main base. Widowmine is gonna be retargeted about 17 times, but then ultimately the probes will get revenge on their lost brother. And in the meantime, on the other side, we do have a good old starport producing a Raven right now. Widowmine here in the middle of the map has also been disappeared. A magical trick. Constant retargeting here by the... Oh my god, it's so annoying. So if you retarget it in time, you can buy a lot more time. But ultimately, this opener right here from Maru really did not achieve a whole lot. Instant Robo Bay on the back of this too. So this will be a quick transition towards Colossi. 3 gateways in total. No Prism out, just an Observer. So that means that Protoss is going to have a hard time getting these units out. Siege tanks, 2 of them now. Good attempt right here by hero, but this is not going to achieve all too much. Opener here from Protoss also falling flat on its face. And that means that this game is mostly even now. Yeah, if you're a Protoss player, by the way, and you're feeling inspired against the Widowmine drop, and you're like, okay, let me pull the probes and attack the Widowmine, I wish you good luck. I wish you all the best. Yeah. Attack the Widowmine with your probe. See how it goes. Just split when, you know, it does burrow in time. It is so easy to mess that up. I was going to use a different word than messing it up. But then I realized, nope, Lowko, family friendly. Family friendly show. Alrighty. Ravens, by the way, very useful tools. We do see these quite a bit actually in this meta now. They don't have the interference matrix research anymore, and we probably won't see that either. But just having it as a detector is really nice. Obviously, against a Blink Stalker opener, there's really never going to be a Stargate. So if you can fly the Raven towards over here, for example, and just occasionally drop a bunch of auto turrets, usually we see the Ravens dealing quite a bit of damage over the course of the game. But just having it here for anti-armor missile and detection against the observers is still very nice. Okay, so the Stalkers have been pushed back. That means apparently we are going flying. The G-forces must be quite high in these medevacts, man. Like the one moment you're on the ground, and the next moment you're getting boosted in a plane. I don't think those Marines even have a chance to put on their seatbelts. Nice blinking right there from hero, though. It is going to be on cooldown for a moment. Auto turrets will drop down. The Raven, okay, very low in hit points, but it looks like this is all... yeah, no, it's fine. It looked a little finicky right there for just a moment. Quite a few probes are going to pay the price, but that was costly as well for our Terran. Looked like a bit of a disaster right there for just a moment for hero, but you retargeted onto the medevacts and then also got the Raven in the end. In the meantime, though, a literal minefield here on the other side of the map as Maru is now setting up shop over on the low ground. Hero already had that third base up for a while, decides to go for the golden mineral line now. He's gonna test the waters with this army of his. Extended thermal lens is done for the Colossi. There are 2 of them. No, there's actually 3 of them. Okay, third one just spawned. Oh, nicely done. Getting the NG Bay is actually really good. Don't love that positioning right there from Maru. I think the engineering bay is a bit too exposed in that location. Yeah, as long as Blink is available, you can go back down to the low ground again. No Prism in the mix. That all makes this a bit scary. We do instead have a bunch of proxy gates. So 2 of them over here. Interesting to go for 2. I quite like that. That'll be the position where hero is going to be reinforcing from. So it is going to be 10 gateways in total. Now, I don't think there's really a whole lot he can do, though. Charging into this... Yeah, this Terran positioning here is not going to work out that well most of the time, but then again, this is hero we're talking about, and sometimes he feels a bit overly ambitious. He knows that the Viking count is going to be growing. He knows that now that Terran has 3 bases, Ghosts are going to be hitting the battlefield soon. Trying to win the game before that point is certainly one of the goals of Protoss, but I don't think he's really going to be able to pull that off against Maru here. Maru's army still looking very significant. Certainly not when you're fighting into a choke point like this. It's not going to be easy. Some disruptors, by the way, have been added into the mix. Timing here on the disruptors is strong. The main thing here for Maru that's going to be tough the longer that this game goes on is the upgrades. So he doesn't have a NG bay at this point, or at least he's not using it. Yeah, he has one, but he starts it up right now. Second NG bay is going to be coming on the back of this. It's going to be ages until those upgrades will actually finish up. At this point, though, upgrades are even. Okay, he's trying to target fire down as many of the Vikings as possible. Some of the Stalkers, okay, misrallied there. It was 3 Vikings here in total going down. A couple SCVs as well. Alright, now +2/+1 though is finishing here for the Protoss player. And that is going to make his units substantially more powerful here for the next minute or two against Maru. Is he gonna try? I think he is going to try. Aggressive blink forward, that means that there's going to be a lot! Woo! A lot of splash damage right here on all of these Protoss units. Doesn't really have that many units available anymore. Obviously, he can reinforce this pretty easily. He's now going up to 12 gateways. So he's proxying gateway after gateway. He's got 4 different sets of proxy gates set up around the map. So if Maru finds one, this is like playing proxy gateway whack-a-mole. You find one of them, but there's gonna be a whole lot more. +3/+2 immediately started up for hero. Hero's doing all of this though off of only 68 workers, which is really not that much. Makes me a little concerned, to be honest, because hero is getting carried away a little bit with all of that he's got. I mean, basically what he's trying to do is try to create a soft contain on the Terran player. Right? If he could dig a moat, that's what he's be doing right now. Just don't allow any resupplying, and eventually they should run out. Now exactly this is the moment. Nice split right there against the Widowmine. This is the moment where Terran is going to try and make a move for the gold base. So this is what hero's been waiting for. Can he deny that gold? If he can deny the gold, life's going to be great. If Maru ever gets that base up and running, he will be maxed out before too long. I don't think there's enough though for Maru. Lovely little game here by hero. He's going to force his way up that ramp. Tons of splash damage here from the Terran. But some nice disruptor novas there too. And ultimately, hero decides to back off. You love to see it. Backs off, knows that this base has been denied for now. Instead, Maru is going to try and sneak out the command center on the other 4th base location. He'll probably go planetary here. But he, at this point, kind of needs to get that planetary up and running before the Protoss player realizes it. Hero is now moving on over in that direction. Sees a Widowmine at least. He's got about a minute. Okay, he sees the entire Terran army cycled in this direction. I think he should be okay. Well, he has to respect the Widowmines though. And that's a good bit of splash damage done. Yeah, planetary is going to finish. That is only one step right there in the right direction for Maru. Will he be able to actually hold on to the base? Well, a little bit of indecisiveness right here from Maru. Yeah, I don't love this here from hero, to be honest. You wanted to engage, probably hoped that that planetary wouldn't be done yet. But now it's a much scarier target to get into. And now suddenly Maru does find himself with more economy. Even goes for a 5th command center here. Okay, disruptors, a little overly ambitious. Some of them do end up getting some damage done, though. Okay, I think hero could have denied that base. He made the call right there to not go for it. Instead, he now wants to move on over towards the right side of the map, where Maru is making a 6th command center. That one gets cancelled immediately. He's looking for an angle, and he may have just found a bit of an angle. Protoss side trying to deal as much damage as possible. 6 more gateways are coming up. We're going 18 gates? 18 gates? Really? Okay. I would say that's too many gateways, but what do I know? Actually, I know the game pretty well. That's too many gateways. I told you I would say it. It's expensive, but you know what? If you only need to reinforce one single time, I guess it's okay. Yeah, ultimately, hero gets a really good trade. He shuts down one of those bases, and Maru is forced to tap out. Amphion is going to be our next game in this best of 5 series, and of course it's match point right now for our Protoss. Hero trying to recreate the Legacy of the Void opening cinematic, where that one probe is the absolute hero. Probius himself warps in a pylon And then, well, as a follow-up to that, we see about, I don't know, 20 zealots or so getting warped in. hero wanted to do 18. I think that's pretty good. What do we do now, hero? Hero actually played that previous game really well. So in game number 2, he got a little bit lucky, maybe. He created that luck himself, so it's hard to really call it luck. Maru didn't really scout and he got punished for it. Pulled a bit of a cheeky one on Maru, managed to get it done. Game number 3 though, that was just better played by hero than by Maru. And that has got to be a bit of a scary match right now for our Terran here, because game number 2 is not really something that hero is likely going to pull off multiple times in a series, but that third game is something that hero would certainly like to repeat. And it's not like Maru really made any global errors. He just decided to play it very passively, and he paid the price. Okay. Bit of fighting. Yeah, a bit of tough love between the SCVs and the probes. Probes always come in with their tasers. Like, ha, tase you. It's a bit mean. But then again, probes only have 40 health in total, whereas SCVs have 45. Ah, okay. We're gonna go for a command center off to the side. So, you know, in a straight-up boxing match, it's definitely the SCVs that end up winning because they have more HP, but obviously those probes will be able to regenerate some HP as well. At least their shields. This guy, though, permanently 10% down the drain. Yeah. Anyways, now that Martin the Marine is out, though, that game of tag is no longer around. I mean, the Proteus does not want to give up. This guy loves hide and seek. I'm a little afraid he's gonna get in over his head because he will probably die, but at least for the time being, he should be okay. He's scouting, trying to see what's happening, and you know what? He saw quite a bit. He wants to get confirmation. He really wants to see if there's a factory building over there. There are some of those cheeky builds that we see Maru play from time to time, where he's going like triple command center, triple barracks, and like just a whole lot of nothing as far as tech goes. So you really would like to, hero that is, he would really like to get a glimpse of that factory, but didn't get it here. Stargate, once again. Oracle into Phoenixes has been popular so far. One Phoenix into a donation, also very popular. But for now, it's going to be Oracles. Do you think it's more fun to be a drone, an SCV, or a probe? Who do you think has the most enjoyable job? I mean, SCVs, they're always like, woohoo, overtime, right? Like, they seem to be excited about it, but it could certainly be ironic. Hard to say. You're dead, I'm sorry. I feel like probes probably have a good time, yeah. Like, I think probes in the morning open up their to-do list, and the to-do list says, like, build a nexus. And it's just, you just point at the spot. You just, yeah, this is where the nexus goes. That's all you have to do. I feel like for a drone, that's a big happening, because you have to actually transform into something else entirely, and you have to be ready for that. You have to say goodbye to your parents, to your friends, because now you're gonna become a hatchery. It's tough. SCVs, I mean, there's humans inside of those suits. Yeah, I don't know, dude. I've been playing a human in real life for like 31 years now, and it's been fun, don't get me wrong, but I feel like probes probably win that. Look at a little taser. I would roll a human again in IRL. Yeah, some people would like to respec to like dolphin or like penguin or something, but I think being a human is pretty sweet. Oracle swoops in. Trying to get some damage in. He bruised a lot of SCVs. Not the perfect target firing that we are used to. Okay, gets a third. Good chance though that Terran is not going to repair those SCVs, so when the Oracle is gonna come back in, he might be able to get like 6 kills or so in about half that amount of time. A Void Ray? What? I don't know. I don't know. It's a Void Ray coming up right now together with a Robo facility, of course. A Robo Bay on the back of this, so we will go into Colossi eventually. I don't know what the Void Ray is nice against. I mean, I guess she can stop drops, right? It's like your Jack of all trades type of unit. There will not be any Blinky boys here anytime soon, so maybe we're gonna try and use that as more of like a stepping stone to just try and stay alive. Here we go, by the way. This is what I was talking about. Yep, Terrans usually don't repair their SCVs. That was really quite nice now. So that Oracle initially didn't get that much damage in, but now it's 8 confirmed kills. Kind of a lot. Do you think it was meant to be a Void Ray? I wonder if he maybe wanted to make another Oracle. Because now he can't afford the Colossus very easily, right? I mean, he can, but it's pricey. Yeah. As soon as a bunch of Marines get across the map, that Void Ray will probably never get value. Okay. Oracle goes back in once more. This time around, though, it was the final trip. Yeah. That could have been a probe. That dude could have chosen to be a probe and live the happiest life. But instead he decided to be a frontline assassin. It's a dangerous job, but somebody's gonna do it. Alrighty. Jimmy leads the charge. Ready to see if he can stop this massive Protoss expansion right now. Hero is just taking up the entire map if he's given another minute. Yeah, that Void Ray is not very good here. I don't like the Void Ray. Ooh, careful. Straight charge. Combat Shields is done at this point though, and so is +1 as well as Stimpack. So Maru is ready to put in a lot of work. This is a scary moment. Yeah, it's difficult to make the decision whether or not you want to push in. Because Maru doesn't know how many Colossi there really are going to be in the near future. He doesn't really know if Charge is going to be close to finishing up. And if you can't really get like a chokehold on a base like that, it's usually better to back off. But obviously he also knows that he's lost a lot of SCVs at home, so he has to get something done. So instead, Jimmy? Oh my god. Dude, it keeps being... It's Jimmy every time. Jimmy gets a private jet. But this is where the Void Ray apparently kicks in, because Jimmy is too precious to go down. Maybe it's actually because of the map layout, the Void Ray. Because like this is kind of a bit of space, right? Like the dead space right here between the Terran and the Protoss. It's quite difficult for ground units to access. And I guess, yeah, going mass Phoenixes is good, but a big commitment. Void Ray is decent, but at the very least it can shut down some of that drop lane. Okay, so Maru has brought more reinforcements. This is a scary army, but now he's going up against charge slots as well. Siege Tank, trying to get in position. Prism gets picked up. This is a very scary Terran army, actually. We need like a big flank coming in from the north. I think if you're gonna commit into that choke point up the ramp, the Siege Tanks are gonna blast you apart. Yeah, he doesn't really have that many units yet. I don't like this fight at all. No, very nice movement right here for Maru. This is exactly what he wanted. Couple Marauders over there as well, drawing the fire of the Colossi, as well as one of the Immortals. Now the Vikings have finished their jobs. All of the heavy hitters from the Protoss player are gone. Late battery overcharge, probably was supposed to be one of the two over at the third base. Maru just grabs a landslide victory, and Hero is forced to tap out. Alrighty, that takes us to El Cyane. Final game in this best of 5 series. I've fast forwarded through like the first 2 minutes of the game. Because of course, this is a best of 5 series. Final game in a match that is very important for both of these. And usually that means that they're not going to go for anything crazy. Yep, we're going to be going for our go-to build orders now. Apparently that means a fast expand for the Terran. Eventually, of course, we're going to get up to Widow Mines and probably a Medevac or two, fair enough. Whereas Hero decides to go for his beloved Stargate. Okay. So let's see. Should be an Oracle into Phoenixes again. I like Oracle into Phoenixes. I think it's very good. Oracle into Oracle is good too. I think Phoenix into Phoenix is good as well. I think Void Rays suck. I think Tempest suck. I think Carriers kind of suck too. So really, you're only allowed 2 units. And luckily for you, you can make those units early on. It isn't going to be a Phoenix, and this time around, hero has won the Terran versus Protoss rock, paper, scissors. Because Terran wants to go for some cheeky little aggression here, and this is, well, at least in the later stages of the game, much easier to clean up with Phoenixes than it is with Blink Stalkers. At least, you know, you don't have to worry about a Medivac hiding over here. And then, at any point, it could just fly in, right? The Phoenixes are good at shutting down any units that decide to hide in the dead space behind the bases to try and be annoying. Apparently we had a... Sorry, what? This is a weird exchange over here. I figured we're not gonna look at... Okay, yeah? So, Phoenix number 1 goes across the map here. Maru is gonna try and bait that Phoenix to go into the Widow Mines. Now, I think he's unloading in the... Yeah. No, he's just trying to save... That's what he's doing. He's trying to save the Medivac. It's a weird situation to be in. The Marines right now, though, will be very handy in that regard. Okay. I like this position a little bit better here for hero, for sure. It's so tough for Terran to do anything now. Luckily, Maru is Maru, though, and he's very good at playing defensive. Are we gonna try and do the cheeky little detonation? This is the cheeky detonation. Ah, too late. If you do it perfectly and you set off the Widow Mine and the Adept Shades while that Widow Mine is in the air, you can actually get the kill on it for free. But it is much easier said than done. That would have been a nice little momentum, though, for hero, but he's gonna go into that Nexus over on the low ground, and it looks like we're gonna open up the rocks towards the bottom. Okay. Phoenix is swooping in. Maru says, yeah, goodbye to those SCVs. He doesn't care about them very much, apparently. It's straight Robo Bay on the back of this once again here for hero, so... Phoenix is into Colossi. Very normal build. Very common strategy, but also technically a little dangerous. Because you have to micro your units really well. The Nexus finishing is actually a big perk, because you can do a battery overcharge. Look at this Phoenix. Looking backwards while lifting things up. You love to see it. Some of the Widow Mines are dealing quite a bit of damage, though, and I think this is overall not a bad fight for Maru. Reinforcing Terran units are moving forward. Loads of shield batteries set up left, right, and center. As soon as the Nexus finishes up, battery overcharge is an option, but hero decided to use it over the natural. Lifted is a landed Viking. It's a bit cursed. A lifted landed Viking. Immortal, though. Big Daddy Immortal is here. Boom. Boom. Every time it fires. Okay. So good hold right there for hero. Gonna get one more Viking as well. A Medivac? Oh, he really wants to get that Medivac. He's gonna get it, I think. Oh, he could have gotten it. He could have gotten it, but he decided... Nope, we're gonna back off. Alrighty. Twilight Council together with a Forge on the back of this right now, and we do have a Raven in production together with the Interference Matrix research. We don't really see this exchange very often anymore in StarCraft 2, but with the Raven's Interference Matrix ability, they can temporarily disable other units. And the target is certainly going to be the Colossi, so if Maru can disable Colossi here, that would be massive. He's going multiple Ravens. Uncommon play in 2024. Still relatively common, though. Yeah. I wouldn't call it rare. I wouldn't call it epic. I definitely wouldn't call it legendary. Uncommon counts. Yeah. Medium rare. I don't love Phoenixes, or sorry, I don't love Ravens, though, into a Phoenix build like this. Because there's already going to be a lot of anti-air. Maru obviously knows this. And it's a difficult call for him to make, because losing those Ravens is going to be super costly. There's a lot of fights where you're like, okay, I'm going to wait for the perfect opportunity to Interference Matrix the Colossi. And then by the time the Colossi finally show up, the Phoenixes swoop in and just murder the, you know, the Ravens in a heartbeat. We're gonna once again go for our proxy gateways. He's just doing it everywhere now. Yeah, so I think what hero is doing, right? He's looking at these games and he's like, okay, Maru's not gonna do anything. Maru's gonna sit there, and then he's gonna sit there, and then he's gonna sit there, and then after sitting there for some time, he's gonna sit there too, and then he's gonna march out to the watchtower, and then when he's there, he's gonna like sit there for a little bit, and then he marches back home. So I think as soon as hero realizes, okay, that's what we're going up against, he decides to go into a load of gateways all over the map so he can quickly reinforce. Maybe catch his opponent off guard at a later stage in the game. Fires up the +1 air upgrades here too. So he is prepared to play a long game. +1 air before really even remotely close to any sort of Skytles army. So obviously he's got Phoenixes, it's still kind of nice, but yeah, maybe it's actually quite good. If you continue Phoenix production, it's actually not bad. He's got 6 Phoenixes. I think it's, yeah. I thought it was for a late game transition, but I actually think it's just for the Phoenixes. Storm is going to be coming up on the back of this though. There is a second Stargate. Problem with a lot of Phoenixes is that you can get them EMP'd very rapidly. So Maru currently does not have a Ghost Academy yet, but I think that's going to be his next line of reasoning here. He'll probably be added on, or adding that sort of thing on for, you know, his Terran army in a moment. Now, he does decide to go for a pretty big move out here with 1-1, but this is not an easy fight. Unless he gets the interference matrices on the Colossi, this Protoss army is going to crush it. Shield batteries are super strong. Storm is going to be done in about 20 seconds. Less than that. Yep, and he feels confident. Fleet beacon drops in the middle of this this standoff. There's the Ghost Academy. Additional barracks are coming up. He decides to commit. Okay. And the armor missile has been used instead. This is the moment where we're sacrificing, apparently, the Phoenixes. But nice hold right there for hero. Pretty easy hold for hero as well. I'd love to see him expanding some more, I think, because I don't think he can really... is he gonna try? He's thinking about maybe retaliating on the other side of the map. Okay. Stargate number 3, right? Yeah, that is a 3rd Stargate. And he doesn't really have any production going on there yet, so he may be ready for like a carrier transition here. Could go into Tempest as well if he feels like it. Hero testing the waters, trying to see if he can go up the ramp. Not the case. Nexus over at the gold base instead, by the way. Maru has now secured a 4th expansion. Ravens, interference matrix, feedback actually does land. But 2 of the Colossi are still not able to fire. Nicely done right there by Maru. Target fires. He should really be target firing down that low HP Colossi, and I think the Colossus indeed is going to go down. The Marine Marauder squad in the meantime absolutely cleaning up all of those units on the ground. Hero overextends and immediately has to pay the price. He had no business on that side of the map right now underestimating the Terran army. I mean, he knew that 2-2 wasn't done yet. Usually Terrans are quite cautious until those upgrades finish, but suddenly Maru finds himself with an overwhelming army. Hero was expending all over, and then he was also doing a Skytles transition in the meantime, and he was tiptoeing around the other side of the map. I think you can probably do 2 out of the 3, but doing all 3 at the same time against a top-level Terran, very difficult to pull off. And the Zealots are now going to be used to buy some time. These also need to buy some time right now, because the carriers are already paid for in supply cost, but they're not out yet. Zealot warp in as well at the bottom of the map, probably ready to do a similar move. Ultimately, hero is going Skytles. 2nd starport coming up here for Maru. We'll probably see a reactor on that one too. Try and pump out as many Vikings as possible. Although for now he's maxed out, so he can't really add on too much more. Researching 3-3. Cloaking upgrade coming up for the Ghosts. Another expansion here on the left side of the map. The command center count is growing here as well, as Maru is just adding on more and more of them now that he's maxed. Gold base is gonna get the knight. Base over here on the left side also in some trouble. And this is the downside, yeah, exactly, of playing a Skytles army. You can't really split it very well. So it's good in a straight up fight, but these units, how in the world do you split it up? How do you defend the right side of the map whilst also defending the left side, right? So suddenly hero is finding himself in a bit of a weird spot. But he's got a strong army, and with this many Templar, it's not easy for Terran to just march across and do damage. But the one thing that has slipped out of herO's fingers now is that map control. Maru has got it all. He's adding on a whole lot of missile turrets. Kind of like what Zerg players like to do when they play against Skytles. Obviously, these aren't Spore Crawlers. You can't reposition them. But look at him. He's actually killing his own low HP units now. 14 missile turrets on the production tab. 3rd, 4th starport. So he's just gonna... He's ready to make like 8 Vikings at once. Mama ship on the production tab. Okay. We're playing a big boy game now. We've been playing some early game strats, some mid game strats, and now we're going straight into the late game. Templar way overextended. This bio army definitely is happy to trade out against a bunch of those heavy hitters from the Protoss, especially if it means that we can go into mass Viking production right now. And that's what Maru is doing. All of these Terran units are gonna be, or all of these Protoss units rather, are gonna be vulnerable against the mass Viking strat. Maru's getting to the point as well where he doesn't really need this many SCVs anymore. He's gonna have a gajillion mules at the very least if he wants to. He'll probably continue mining with this many workers for some time, but I don't think he's gonna continue rebuilding them. Nice and early +1 upgrade here too, by the way, for Maru, who's already like halfway through to his +2. I was highlighting herO doing the same thing right there, but Maru also actually started up his own upgrades quite quickly. Fusion core coming up, armory. Another armory building. That'll probably be for the mech upgrades. We'll probably go into some ranged liberators as well if Maru gets his way. So if he somehow, some way wins the air fight, and he dominates that Protoss army, and then the Protoss decides to go into Mass Stalker again, it's a perfect opportunity for Maru to then go into Mass Liberator. So he's crossing his T's, dotting his I's. But is this now giving herO a lot of time, though, to get a bunch of bases going once again? So herO's set up nicely. Now look at this. Just a mass slow push here with a load of missile turrets trying to nullify those Ravens. Big anti-armor missile. No attempted split there from herO whatsoever. That means he's taking a brunt of the damage, but he still is thinking about moving forward. This is before all of those missile turrets are done. Yeah, the mothership is putting in so much work here. The cloaking, super helpful. Time warp, making it difficult. A lot of these Protoss air units, or a lot of these Terran air units, rather, have to be careful. Okay. herO breaks out of that position. Can he really capitalize on this, though? Mothership right now goes down. I think we should have backed off. I don't know why we, like, aren't regenerating any shields there. Continuing to fight is dangerous, but I think he knows that there's going to be a whole load of Vikings on the back of it. Another expansion here on the right side. Probably see this base up north taken in a moment too, but herO already has more mineral fields than he can properly mine. At least he could try and transfer some of those probes. Okay. Whoa, did he just get 2 High Templar snipes? I think he did. High Templar are so critical here. That's why herO has decided to warp in even more of them. Second armory, by the way, and the first one not really being used. Okay, there we go. As soon as I say it, both of them start up their upgrades. Very important to stay on top of those upgrades. Okay, a couple of the ghosts do get snatched right there. Anti-armor missile once again being used. Storm from the low ground, though, hitting all the way up towards that golden mineral line. One disruptor far forward trying to bait these Terran units, but Maru is not fishing. I always like this late game army for Terran so much better than that of the Protoss. I think this is like... I mean, it's a good army. The Protoss army here is strong, but I see it go horribly wrong so frequently. There's a big EMP, for example, shutting down a bunch of those High Templar. The Vikings swoop in. They're so much more microable than this Protoss late game force, and herO at least decided to retreat for the time being. We are all the way up to 24 Vikings, by the way. 24 Vikings is enough to, like, basically one-shot everything. Here's a big tactical nuke flying on down towards the low ground. I'm assuming herO sees the red dot. He is... okay. Gonna have to back off. Yep. Just decides to cut it close. Fair enough. Planetary Fortress falls. Neither player has really committed any units towards the top left-hand corner of the map in quite a while. I can imagine they're starting to get a little bit antsy as far as that goes, because those are important bases, and if your opponent has had that one for some time and you didn't realize it, it could be an absolute disaster. There's the advanced ballistics. If we ever get to Liberators, if Protoss is ever stuck on a ground army, Liberators are gonna just destroy it. Blink is coming right now. Actually, super late Blink. I think it's the latest game of PvT, or of PvT where hero has ever made Blink. 18 minutes into the game. Made his second mothership before Blink. That never happens. Careful. Ah, bad movement here by Protoss. You need to have one of those High Templar ready to go. Those carriers really don't have to go in that bit of space, where those Vikings are easy to pick them off. Okay, good storm. Maru obviously clumping up his Vikings to try and maximize the damage that they can deal, but that would also maximize the damage that they can take against Psionic Storm. Yeah, and this mass Viking ball is so hard here. Big EMPs. Okay, yeah, that's it. Maru just EMP'd most of that army. And that means that there are no longer any storms available. And without storms, those Vikings have a grand old time. We do have a bunch of Archons still remaining, but as soon as the Vikings land on the ground and there's still that much bio left over, you know that it's a done deal. Well played right there by Maru. Protoss is very dependent on the High Templar, but the EMPs of the Ghost just deal so much damage to them, and without the High Templar, suddenly that Protoss army just disappears. Human technology does it again. Look at that. Oh my god. He's literally pointing his Vikings at things and they die. The mothership dies in one shot. One volley will also kill apparently each of those carriers. Yeah, and now is that moment, right, where Protoss is like, well, I can't play Sky anymore, so I guess we're going back to ground. This would be an excellent opportunity for Maru to start the Liberator production, and that's exactly what he does. Maru is so strong in the late game. He's now taking that base up north as well. Orbital Command in the bottom right-hand corner. Still all the way up to 83 workers, so his income is still solid. Yep. We won't see any Vikings rebuilt anymore. But Vikings are obviously still really strong. They deal bonus damage against mechanical. Which means that they're still going to be good on the ground too. Well done right here by Maru. Very well played. Yeah, Protoss is very dependent on splash damage, right? So like that's one of the things you run into. StarCraft 2 in general is very splash damage focused. Protoss in particular though needs to get those good hits in, be it with the Archons, the High Templar with Storm, the Colossi, right? Like there's so many ways of doing it, but if you don't get any of it done, and if the Terran player micros against practically all of it perfectly, that was another really hot pickup there. It's tough. Maru is so strong though. Yeah, so what hero is trying to do is win the game by playing a Skytles army and bleeding out the Terran over the course of the game. So try and prevent as many of those expansions as possible. But as soon as Maru started getting those bases up, it really just feels like a matter of time until he gets one of those big EMP hits. And the moment is, yeah, always close by for him to just push through. There is an attempt at a run by here, so he is going to be able to kill a planetary fortress. The thing is, hero has not got not a chance here to be fighting this Terran army straight up. He's going to try and give it a shot. He needs to. Obviously, this is a premier tournament. But there's a moment where if this was a ladder game, yeah, hero would have already tapped out. I think that moment was about a minute or two ago. GG is called, and Maru brings it back to win this series over hero.